Okay, so we are here. Welcome everyone to the NCAA Final Four live stream. Igor and I are going to talk a little bit about men's basketball, and we're going to talk about wine. That's Igor over there. Wait, over there, over there. There he is, Igor. Linus Reverie, the GOAT. Do it.
The GOAT.
Jesus,
Speaking of goats, we're going to talk about women's basketball as well.
We are?
Yeah. What?
Why?
You didn't watch?
Is there such a thing?
It seemed to be more exciting of the two games.
I don't know. I mean, you're probably right. All right, so all right, if you want to talk about women's basketball, first of all, before you get going, what are you drinking over there?
We're in George. I have from Cantina Lunai out of Colli di Luni. So Colli di Luni, it's an interesting region. It's a region that's between two more famous regions. It's an appellation between two more famous regions. So it's kind of north of Tuscany and south of Liguria. So it's the wine basically around the vicinity of Cinque Terre. You know, the famous Italian Riviera towns.
Yep.
This is Vermentino, and I don't know, George. Do you think it's ever been done? Somebody opening Vermentino from Colli di Luni live on multiple platforms?
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe we should find out. I mean, I have no idea.
I got the box cutter here, so I get it going. Yeah, so nice wine. You know, Vermentino is made in Tuscany. It's also made in Sardinia. Those are like the three famous parts where Vermentino is made in Italy. But very few wines from Colli di Luni come to the U.S. First of all, you know, the region itself is very small. Yeah. And,
I was just drinking water. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the region is small. And from what I read, a lot of the Italians just drink it up there on, you know, or not Italian, the tourists as well, as their vacationing at Cinque Terre.
In Cinque Terre. Yeah, in Cinque Terre. Sure.
There's like 2 or 3 examples that I'm familiar with. So this is very exciting. And this is, like I said, Cantina Lunai has really great reputation for making Vermentinos. Yeah, I'm going to open it up. I had it in the fridge about an hour and a half, and I took it out about 15 minutes ago. To kind of, okay. I think that's a good rule of thumb is for white wines to put them in the fridge, but then drink them, you know, 15 minutes out of the fridge.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Otherwise, all you'll taste is a dead tongue. You don't taste anything, which is good for some wines, depending on what you're drinking, I guess.
Well, yeah, bad wines.
If I knew you were doing white, I would have had a different shirt on.
Yes.
I don't have my drinking, but I wouldn't buy a shirt. I didn't know that you were going with the white today. But I do like Vermentino. Actually, Vermentino is very good. I see it.
Yeah, when you were in the restaurant, did you guys serve a lot of Vermentinos?
No, definitely not. There's most of the Italian white is Gaia, Gavi di Gavi, that kind of thing. There was some Vermentino, but very little. My last job was a steakhouse job, so you know there wasn't too much Italian whites on there at all. Yeah, that's a nice color.
Yeah, just a quick sniff, and the minerality and the citrus zest just comes out of the glass. You know, just reminds me of coastal wines. You know, like influence from the water. So
you get a little salinity on that too, because I know the ones from Sardinia have a little salinity, which I happen to enjoy.
It does. Actually, extensive salinity. Very nice. It would be great to taste Vermentino from Sardinia side by side. I want to say that Vermentinos are even more saline, but you know, that's just going to memory. It'd be great to taste it. But this is such a refreshing wine. Oh my God, it's just dancing on the palate with that like initial citrus zest. You got a little bit of basil notes on it, so a little herbal notes. Oh man, what a great combination!
Awesome. I mean, it'd be even more awesome if I had a glass, but you know, you didn't bother to tell me you were going to crack open some wine. So, okay, whatever. It is what it is. I see where we stand. All right. So, by the way, do you have any Sardinian Vermentino in the shop right now?
I have one. Yes, I have one Vermentino from Sardinia right now.
Okay, well, maybe I need to come in next week and do a side by side and put it on my channel, on the Wine by the Bay TV channel, and we'll do a tasting. So okay, all right, something to think about. All right, so let's talk about the college basketball situation. NCAA just wrapped up a couple of days ago. You were right; the men's teams were pretty boring. It was a 12, 15 point game pretty much all night long, and sometimes even to I think it was 19 was the biggest lead at some point. So yeah, that game was over before it started pretty much, and threes raining down from UConn, not so much from Purdue. Are you familiar with that big kid from Purdue? I feel like he's going to make it to the NBA.
No, well, I came across him during the tournament, and watching the highlights. He was dominating on the inside, pretty easily. I don't know if he's going to be any good at NBA. From what I've heard,
he had 29 points in the third quarter. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, I think he finished with 37. Yeah, but I don't know. He looks like somebody with a skill set from the 80s. This is not the kind of modern NBA skill set that he's playing with.
That's true. I don't know. Maybe I can teach him an outside shot. You might be right about that. You're right. He has no outside game. It's all inside.
So he's as tall as Wembanyama, but that guy, strokes threes almost as good as Curry.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So, anything else you want to say about the men's game? I feel like you really want to talk about the women's game. So, feel free.
Yeah. It's interesting. I was listening to some talking heads, and by the way, the extent of me watching the men's March Madness is I watched like 10 minutes highlights from the final game, which I think actually overqualifies me to speak on that. So not until about a week ago that I even learned that UConn is going for back-to-back titles. I didn't even know they won it last year. And I think it kind of says the status of the men's game. Just watching this game, the movement was really excellent. They were attacking and keeping Purdue confused. But you were watching it and you're like, where is the star power? Are these guys, boring is not a right word, because it wasn't boring. It was nice to watch all that movement, all that great fundamental execution. But it's just like nobody stood out. Like not a single player stood out. And when I used to watch NCAA tournaments, more closely and then obsessively at one point, in college, after college. Geez, I remember going back when Arizona won it with Mike Bibby. You had these guys who kind of stood out and became, pretty good NBA players. Maybe these guys will stand out more. Maybe, 10 minutes of highlights is not like a good barometer, but that's the one thing that stood out for me is, a lot of fundamentals, but no kind of like excitement or
Well, I watched a quarter and a half of the game, and I can tell you're right about the fundamental thing. It looks like a college game because they don't play fundamentals in the NBA anymore. All they do is run up and down the court and shoot threes, and then occasionally on a fast break they'll jam it down. They'll stuff it down your throat. So yeah, it was more of an amateur game, more of a school game, quote unquote, which I didn't mind. It's just it was lopsided. They didn't stand a chance. Purdue just was never in the game. So yeah, I think you're right about that.
Switching over to the women's game, I actually watched a little bit more of that. So I've been listening about Caitlin Clark for some time, and watched the highlights. Actually,
does your wife have to be careful?
What was that?
Does your wife have to worry if you're watching Caitlin Clark?
No. All the hoopla, I wanted to check it out because, I'm not the first one to jump on the bandwagon, but when it's like beaten over the head, I'm like, all right, well, let me find out. I heard cryptocurrency is supposed to be something, right? Is that a thing? Well,
yeah, I read that somewhere.
Never mind.
I read that somewhere, yeah.
But the Lakers.
By the way, where's Cliff?
Arena. I didn't see that until yesterday. That was when the Warriors played the Lakers.
By the way, where is Cliff? I was made to understand that Cliff might be joining us at some point. Where is he? Is he backed out of the situation here?
Well, you and Cliff must have been like colluding against me because I didn't know anything about this. I mean,
No. I don't mean necessarily today, but I thought he was coming on the next podcast, and I don't see him anymore.
yeah. Well, that's yeah. Yes, we'll have to organize something with a topic ahead of time instead of kind of just me and you last second improvisation.
Hang on. What's the matter, Cliff? You scared?
Oh,
you afraid to talk basketball? No. I'm. If he's watching right now, I'm calling him out. You don't have the guts to come on here and talk women's basketball? What's your problem?
Hey,
you know what it is? You're drinking white. He doesn't do white wine. It's not a Bordeaux.
You start drinking a little bit of burgundies, white burgundies.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. I'll believe it when I see it. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So have you seen anything from Clark?
Who?
You.
Who's Clark?
Caitlin Clark. So are you even less out of the loop than I am?
No, I know the name, and I know that she lost last year and won this year. Isn't that the one, the white chick? Is that Caitlin Clark?
Well, no, she lost in the championship game last year, and she lost it again this year as well.
Wait a minute. Who's the one that's who's? Wait a minute. There was a white chick that lost last year. Didn't she win this year?
No, she lost again. She lost again in the championship.
She lost again. She just beat the team that beat them last year. Is that what it is?
Yes. In the
LSU,
Elite
right?
Eight.
They beat LSU.
They beat LSU, who they lost to last year. And then they lost to South Carolina, who they beat last year in the semifinals.
Well, I'm going to say something very controversial. I don't care about women's basketball. There you go. You can get me in the chat if you hate my guts.
So I watched the highlights from the UConn game, which is the semifinal game they had. And I watched the South Carolina highlights. And when you watch both those games, you see a superstar, which I didn't see during the men's UConn Purdue game.
Yeah, but bro, superstar with what? The WNBA?
Yeah.
I mean, they got to pay people to come to the arena of those games. I mean, so what?
Well, so athletically, it's definitely a different game. But from the way I understand it, the tickets were much more expensive for the women's Final Four than they were for men's Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, maybe so. I don't know. I mean, I would never go to a Final Four game anyway, but that's just.
But you know what was interesting watching her is that she's got kind of like that star power where she's a great shooter, great passer, makes big plays in tight spaces. Sometimes she, a little full of herself, looking for the right call, the calls from the officials. Sometimes, hot dogs during the games or quits on bad plays. But there was a tenacity, a very impressive tenacity during the UConn. Because what UConn did is they basically put a player on her and be like, and that was the only thing she was going to do. She was going to only do guarding Caitlin Clark.
I mean, that sounds horrifying.
Well, she made plays, and that was a close game. And in the second, in the championship game, they actually had a 10-0 lead to begin the game. And then South Carolina, who were much bigger, they just started pounding them. And it's like a classic game where the bigger team is going to win, and they're going to win, and they're going to win because they're just going to pound you both on offense and defense. That's exactly how it looked like. It looked like, they would just start chipping away, pounding, getting offensive rebounds, blocking shots, just pounding. And then Iowa got back and tried to catch up with threes. And that never happens when somebody's pounding you. It was like a classic mismatch where like a bigger team imposes their will and kind of finishes the game. It was very actually interesting, classic. I guess I don't know if the finish is the right word, but I'm not the word matchup, but it's somebody who imposes their will on somebody else, and the other team cannot do anything about it.
Well, if you're not hitting your outside shots and you're smaller and you're not getting glass, you're not hitting the rebounds. I mean, you don't stand a chance. Let's be honest. No matter if it's men's, women's, children's, whatever, same situation. If you can't go to the hole and you can't get the ball back, you're done.
Well, you're done. But you know what I always think it happens? You never hit outside shots when you're being pounded. That's just kind of the rule of the court. Like that never happens. If somebody's pounding you, suddenly your shot goes away. You're probably too tired. You're probably too beaten up. Whatever the situation is, like nobody pounds you away and you're still making shots. That never happens.
It does if you're shooting outside all the time. I mean, if you're a 3-point team and you're shooting from behind the arc and they're not coming out, I mean, if they can't defend you out there, like if you're, I mean, think about it. Look at the Warriors. I mean, you got to defend them at half court all game long. Otherwise, they're raining threes down on you.
Yes, because the team is set up of 3-point shooters and great ball movement.
Right.
I mean, who pounded them? I mean, the Warriors are typically, when they were winning championships, they were like a top 5 defensive team, right? So I'm talking about finesse teams that are like the Phoenix Suns of the early 2000s. Remember when they were always great in the regular season, but when somebody started pounding them in the playoffs, they couldn't do anything.
Well, that's because there was the rules were different. You could actually play defense back then.
You could play defense back then. That's true.
And even then, it was a very light defense. But still, now you can't even breathe on somebody. Yeah, I don't know what the rules are for the women's game. Like I said, I didn't watch it. I will never watch women's basketball unless I have a daughter that's playing women's basketball.
Yes.
That's the end of it. Other than that, sorry, not interested. When they're shorter than I am and they're slower than I am, which is bad because I'm 51, that's a problem. I don't really care. I also don't watch welter, like flyweight boxers for the same reason. They could probably kick my ass, but I mean, maybe not.
No, but come on, skill sets though. Like even with boxers,
I'm not interested.
Of all, I think any professional boxer could beat me up, featherweight or not.
Well, I don't know.
Professional boxers.
I'm about 130 pounds more than a featherweight. That's the thing.
130 pounds is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. Double their size. They're like 136. I'm like 262.
So do you like your chances?
I don't know if I like my chances the older I get, but 15 years ago, yeah. I love my chances 15 years ago.
We'll have to discuss. He hasn't happened yet, right? Was it Paul versus Mike Tyson?
No. I don't think it's. It might be this weekend. Either this weekend or next weekend.
Well, then we gotta get.
It's live streaming on Netflix. It's live streaming on Netflix.
Okay. So we have to get a clip.
Yeah, I don't know the date.
Afterwards.
Yeah, well, figure it out, man. I mean, you're in charge of wrangling everybody.
I wonder where he's gonna open. I bet it's not gonna be Coley DeLuny.
It won't be. No, it's gonna be a Bordeaux. Let's be honest.
Maybe show him the pop. He loves saying that.
All right, leave a comment in the chats. Tell us who's going to win, Jake Paul or Mike Tyson in their epic battle. Mike Tyson, 57 years old, against Jake Paul, 28 years old. How's that wine tasting?
Amazing. If you guys want to pick it up, you know where to go.
VinusReverie.com.
How much up? It's $24.
$24.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me.
Able to post it?
I'm gonna put a link in the chat. Give me a minute, guys. Keep talking, Igor.
Yeah, well, let me talk a little bit more about the wine. It's just like I'm enjoying it. The saltiness is just like it's so much on it, and that salinity. California wines do not have this flavor profile. It's just I've never had it. A lot of fruit on it. Even like good, bad, and different examples. This is specifically like the French always call terroir. It comes from a specific place, and it showcases that place in the glass.
Okay, guys, I posted the link in the chat. So if you're interested in checking this wine out, it's available at VinusReverie.com. Just click the link; it'll take you right to the bottle. $24.99.
I was actually. Let me see. There was a. Let me see if I could find the food pairing for this.
I mean, Soul would be perfect.
Okay, here it is. It's excellent with local cuisine, especially testaroli, wholemeal dumplings with pesto. There it is.
Yeah, I've never had an oatmeal dumpling in my life. I will tell you, if you have that with Dover sole or a white fish, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Like a snapper.
Like a lighter bodied whitefish, right? Somebody.
Yeah, right. Like a snapper, like a red snapper or a Dover sole, something like that. You could also do it with prosciutto melon. That'd be really good.
This is definitely full, Sauvignon Blanc kind of range profile. So if you like Sauv Blancs, I think you'll enjoy this one.
All right. Well, we're definitely going to do that side by side now. Now I'm angry that I didn't get to taste that wine, so we're going to have to do that. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Good. So yeah, guys, pick up the wine. Click on the link that I put in the chat, and make sure you get that wine. Any last words, Igor, about the women's basketball game or anything like that?
Both games were not super exciting, but it's fun to talk about it.
Did you watch the women's game?
No, I watched highlights.
10 minutes of highlights. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. The highlight. That's the extensive.
That says it all, doesn't it? That
so
says
I watched
it all.
2 games of highlights for women versus only 1 for men. So that's it was twice as exciting.
You invested 20 minutes instead of 10 minutes. Okay. The things you do for love, Igor. The things you do for love.
Cheers, everyone.
All right, guys. So we're gonna wrap it up early. I got to be up in Napa tomorrow morning. I got my new job. I got to get to it, Matthew Bruno. More about that in the coming weeks. But in the meantime, check out Igor down at Vinous Reverie in Walnut Creek. It's a lot closer than Napa. Well, I mean, I guess it's a lot closer than Napa if you're in Walnut Creek. If you're in Napa, it's a lot closer in Napa. So either way, get down there, check out that wine, click on the link. He ships. You ship all over the country, don't you?
All over the country.
Yeah, I mean, so pick up a case of that wine, and well, I think you only have 3 of them, right?
No, I have like 10 bottles, but you guys
okay. Well, then you need to update your website.
Yeah,
because you only have 3 on the website. So update that, guys. Get on there, buy your wine now before he sells all 10 bottles out. $25. Who cares? I mean, give it a shot. I bet you haven't had the Vermentino over there, so give that a shot, and we'll see Igor pretty soon. All right, Igor. Any last thoughts? I gotta kind of jump off.
No, let's go, George. Great. It's always great talking with you, and thanks everybody. We'll talk to you guys next time.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time. And I know that's the wrong channel.